Hello everyone, it's your girl Coach Kelly from the Coach Kelly Speaks Talk Show. I'm here to talk about my brand new book, the 30-Day, 30-Minute Visionary Journal, Awakening the Finisher Within. I wrote this book because I wanted to inspire other people to be finishers in their own personal journey of business and everyday life. So writing this book has really helped me to organize my thoughts a lot better. And it has also just made me look at things different and not put so much pressure on myself, because before I would try to compile so much information in at one time, but now it has slowed my pace down a lot and I'm able to really plan things out in a 30-day, in a 30-minute manner. And so I think that now, with different projects that I'm working on, I feel that I'm a little more confident in what it is that I'm doing because I've actually planned it out better. So I hope that people who get this book will have a deeper appreciation for, number one, who they are, what they've been called to, and the people group that they've been called to as well. I also want people to have a clear and step-by-step guide to how to fight against fear and procrastination. I hope that this book will help you to win in each and every level of your life, each and every area of your life. I want this book to change the way you see yourself. When you look yourself in a mirror, that you won't see yourself through the eyes of fear, but that you'll see yourself through the eyes of faith, knowing that you are a finisher and that you will finish each and every project that you put your hands on. I just wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you, gracias, because without you, I would not be able to do what I do, what I love every day, from styling my clients to the boutique, and now my new show, the Coach Kelly Speaks Talk Show. This has been an exciting journey for me. I'm inspired by each and every last one of your comments, how you share my posts, going on to YouTube, leaving comments, just all of that just warms my heart every time I read it. And so I wanted to just let you know that you can buy my book on my website at www.coachkellyspeaks.net. Thank you again for tuning in, and I love you guys so much. Thanks. Hello everyone, and welcome to another week of the Coach Kelly Speaks Show. I'm your girl, Coach Kelly, and today we have an exciting show. We have Jermaine and Katron Turner, the power couple. I watch them on Facebook all the time when they come on Tuesdays. And I love them so much because they're very real and uncut. They talk about marriage and they talk about topics about really how to fight fear in marriage. A lot of times couples go through so many different challenges. And so every week I talk about myself because I believe that in order to really transition in life properly, you have to face yourself and go into a season of transparency. And so one of the things this week was very challenging for me. I don't know why. It just really was really challenging. And so this whole week I found myself really just kind of like, I just need a vacation. It was just one of those weeks. And so as my clients start coming in the salon, I noticed many of them felt the exact same way. And so I found myself really encouraging them and motivating them. And the week was really rainy. And so some people just felt like blah the whole week. And so my word this week is really take care of yourself and face what's facing you. And when you find yourself in those seasons where things may not be moving in a direction that you may want them to, know that by the power of your mouth, you can command your morning, you can command your day, you can command your week. And everything doesn't have to be, all conditions doesn't have to be favorable in order for you to have a good day. You can still have a good day if it's raining, if it's sunshine, if you have a good hair day, bad hair day. You decide what kind of day you want to have. And so I want to just encourage you, and just also this week, even on my timeline, I feel like it was like nonstop deaths. And sometimes when you go on social media, you could be having a wonderful day, and then you look on Facebook and it's someone you know whose parent may have passed away, or they just experienced a breakup. Like sometimes your timeline could be so crazy. And this week was really, really crazy because of the incident in Charlottesville. I believe it's Charlottesville, where they had all these protests, and it was so much violence and anger and rage just everywhere. And so this week was just challenging for me to be on social media. For the most part, I really had to just kind of disconnect myself, honestly, because I just started feeling like it just was overwhelming. And so sometimes it's not even what's going on with you that can be overwhelming. Sometimes it's just people that's connected to you. But we have a civic responsibility that when we see certain things on social media, Facebook, that we are attentive to it. And when we see people who we know going through, make sure you send them a card. I mean, if you can't go to their funeral or whatever, just try to be there for one another. I know for myself, one of my friends, she lost two people in the same week. And for me, I really encouraged her. So I texted her, I called her, I made sure that I gave her a big hug when I saw her, let her know that I was there for her. And even though my week was a blah week, I still made it my business to think about someone other than myself. And so this week, I just want to encourage you that just to keep your friends and your families lifted up in prayer. Make sure that you have a God listening heart towards others, and that we don't get so consumed in our own lives that we miss out on moments where we can help others. My pastor was talking about worship, and he broke it down so wonderfully, how he says that worship is acts of kindness from the heart. And sometimes we think worship is just singing or dancing or crying or shouting all over the place. But your act of worship can just be something as small as sharing a coupon in the store. My kids and I went to Subway today, and I had some extra coupons, and the lady behind me, she was, getting ready to pay for her food. So I said, hey, here's a coupon. So that was my way of just spreading small acts of kindness in the world. And so I'm so excited for this great opportunity to have this show, knowing that this show is in all of these different countries, and people are being affected all over the world by the Coach Kellie Speak Show. I thank you so much for your prayers, your emails, subscribing to the YouTube channel. It means a lot, because when you take on projects as such, sometimes you don't want to do something just for the sake of doing it. You want to make sure that you are making impact. So it means a lot. Thank you so much. If you have any questions or comments for today's show, you can go straight to our straight to CoachKellieSpeaks@gmail.com, and you can also go onto our Facebook. If you are on our Facebook, if you have any questions concerning marriage, business, personal finances, anything related to that, you can feel free to just write on my wall if you have any questions or comments. We would love to hear from you. And so we're going to have the Turners after this commercial. With the power couple, Katron and Jermaine Turner. Thank you guys so much for joining me on today.
It's
Thank
our
you for having
pleasure.
us.
Thank you for having us.
There you go. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. And so I met this amazing couple that did a photo shoot for me about maybe 4 or 5 years ago.
It's been a while.
Wow.
Yeah. And so they are the founders and owners of JPix Photography.
That's correct.
So how long have you guys been in business?
Oh, wow. We've been in business now, I think about 13 years.
Yeah, 12, 13 years,
Yeah,
yeah.
we counted based on our son. He's 12, and we started right before
He was born.
And that was Jermaine's like, oh, we need to do something. We about to have a kid, so we need to do something to
As
make
most
some.
guys feel when their wife is pregnant, they feel like they're not making enough money. So
Yeah, he was like, we need to do something to make some more money. So that's why we started the business. Really.
Yeah, started
As
off.
you started. So did you always have a love for photography?
Yeah, it was a hobby at first, and so when we found out, well, we planned our first child, that we was going to have a child, and I just felt like the same thing that most guys feel, that hey, we need to bring more money in the home, and so it was started out just a money project, but then it turned into a passion and a deal that we do daily. So
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. So was it something that you started full time, or was it a side business, or how did it all evolve?
Well, originally, what really happened was I was working corporate America, and I was a marketing manager for several years. And then I was pregnant with our second child. We started the business with our first, and then 2 years into that, we got pregnant with our second son. And then I started feeling like I wanted to be at home, and I wanted to be this stay-at-home mom. And but I was still working. And so then I got laid off. I got laid off from my job. They were downsizing. And that's what really started me in the business. I was helping him. We were taking pictures. We were doing free shoots. We were starting our business in those 2 years. But after I got laid off, then I came on full time and helped him kind of grow it and mature it. And so that's really how it started, how we got doing it together.
yeah, because without her, it'd be a mess. I would do all the jobs for free, and
That's the truth.
like I just strictly had all of my friends calling saying, "Hey, bring your camera, show up." Yeah, so I needed her to put it on the path that it's on today.
That's
She's
true.
like, no.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, we need to make some money. We out here doing this for free. We need to do something to make some money. So yeah, that's really how it began. And then I was like, okay, so I found, because I was a marketing manager already, I found ways to kind of market the business and grow it and that type of thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so are you still head marketer, or have you transitioned to have someone else do that?
No, I still do all of it. I still do everything pretty much. When we pretty much run our own business full time. So I do all the marketing, all the graphic design, all the customer support, all the customer service, all the bookkeeping, all the budgeting, everything. That's me. I handle that. He does the photography and the editing, but I pretty much handle a lot of the hats where clients are concerned.
And just like most people who run a business, you tend to wear more than just one hat. You might carry the talent, but it's a small business, and so when you run a small business, you tend to wear more hats, and it's no different than most people that run a small business. If you find yourself with a broom in your hand in your salon, then you're not taking on a full responsibility of being a sweeper, but you can sweep up some hair, right?
Absolutely. And, just me transitioning to having my own salon and just seeing like all of the things that I didn't have to do when I was working in other salons. And so you're right. Sometimes you're PR, you running around, you scrubbing the toilet, you're doing all of those things. And so, how do you balance being this power couple, having a business, and also just making room for each other?
Woo. I think it was difficult at first. I think that was the biggest thing. because when you have a business in the beginning, you're putting everything into it. So we were putting everything into it. I mean, we were up all night. We were.
When you go to bed, you talk about it. Things like that.
Yeah. But Jermaine and I have been knowing each other for a very long time. We met when I was 15. He was 17. So I always tell this. I know people think this is weird when I say this, but we're like family, like in a weird, like brother and sister, but married kind of way. And so we kind of know each other, and we've been together so long that when we're just friends first. And so I think that helped us balance. I mean, it was rocky at first trying to figure out how to do it, but we did it together, and that's really. And
to add to her point, I think that it's a balance that needs to be had. And I think if we just go into it and remove the elephant out the room and say, hey, this will cause our relationship a problem if we don't do this.
Yeah.
And so we learned early on that, hey, it's two bosses in the room. And so we had to learn that to run a business successfully, because people ask that all the time. How do you run a business with your wife? Or how do you run a business with your husband? Well, we had to find out who's the boss on different times. Sometimes I'm the boss. Sometimes she's the boss. And that's just how it is. If I walk into the office and it's about marketing or PR work or anything that consists of what she does for the company, she's the boss. And I kind of have to add to it, and I have to play on a role. And just like in photography, I carry the hat of being the boss in that. And, and so we just kind of give each other a little leeway. And it was a learned behavior. I don't want to make it seem like, we woke up like that. It's a learned behavior. And we had to, in order to get along, in order to run a business successfully, you have to remove the elephant out the room and tell the truth about it.
Yeah. And I think another thing is we went through our challenges when one of us was more tired, or we felt like, oh, I'm doing more. But I think, and we talked about this earlier, I just think that what happened was we decided that, you know what, this is what I have to do. You know what I mean? And this was what makes this work. So that's what makes it work. So, yeah.
And so you wouldn't, I love the concept of one umbrella marriage.
Okay.
Where did that concept come from?
Well, what happened was, this is the short, long story. I don't want to say, I hate this. Okay, well, we are photographers. So that's where it started. Okay. And what happened was we shoot weddings. That's one thing that we do. And so we shoot weddings. And what happened was we were at a wedding, and it didn't happen. Let me just say it like that. And I was devastated. We were out of the country. And I told Jermaine, I said, I feel like it's something that we could have done. I feel like we could have
helped a couple
helped them or said something. We're out the country, and then they decided they're not going to get married, and I was hurt. And so I said, well, let's think of a way that we could talk to our couples. What can we do? Can we reach out to them? So we instituted with every couple that gets married before their wedding, about a month before, we take them out. We take them out to dinner, we pay for it, and we talk to them about marriage. We talk to them about their fears, about what's going on. Family, how, things play out. And that was the door opening. I don't know how we came up with one umbrella marriage. I think we're just
looking for cool names.
Right.
We was looking for cool names. It wasn't something long, and it didn't have a story to it. We were just looking for something cool, and
I think maybe we saw something that said something about, if you go through a storm together, do it with one.
You're about to make it cool. It wasn't cool. It just came up.
Dope name.
Yeah, it's just a good name.
Right.
So
if you hold one umbrella together, you can go through everything. We can make it cool. If you're looking for a cool answer, we can make it cool.
Right. Yeah. So our couples, after they get married, we stay in relationship with them. Most of our couples come back. We follow them on Instagram and Facebook. We have relationship with them. We talk to them. So most of our couples that we've married or shot their weddings, we're close to or have some type of relationship with.
And it started with that couple when they decided not to get married. Katron took it, and she wore that as a female. You guys, you share each other's pain sometimes, and so Katron took in the pain from that bride who got kind of sort of left at the altar type of deal, and it hurt her. And it hurt Katron, and she just wore it. And from there, she just decided that, hey, it's something more we can do. I was not on board with it. I was not. I wanted to help marriages, sure, but I just I didn't think that we can be involved in other people's lives. I didn't think people cared to hear from us. And so it took a little pushing for me, but, and I think probably like most guys, our relationship isn't perfect, or what are people going to say about our stuff, but I realized that you don't have to be perfect in order to you don't have to be perfect in order to give advice. You don't have to be perfect at everything you do. You could give advice from where you are.
And then from there, we just started hosting events at our home, just having couples over and talking about relationship things, and just that's really where it started. We had people over, and we were talking to pastor friends of ours, and they said, you guys have a gift, and you should share it. And we were like, ooh, it's scary. And we were like, I don't know. So, but then we were like, okay. And they came to our first event, and we had about 10 couples. And
we realized that a lot of couples, they wanted to talk about marriage.
Right.
They wanted to talk about their relationship. They wanted to hear what other couples were going through and things like that. And we just set up a program at our house, and it was pretty good. And because we realized that at your job, you'll study and you'll go to school and be educated on your subject that you have at work and whatever it is that make you great at work. But you won't go get more education for your marriage. You won't go get more advice for your marriage until it's in trouble.
That's the truth.
When it's in trouble, then you'll go get it. But what happens to getting more tools along the way? Because we've all changed. We've been married for 16 years, and you change, and so we just encourage people to go and get more advice and go get more knowledge, because we've all changed. I tell a funny joke about it all the time. When we got married, I didn't eat Brussels sprouts. But we eat them once a week now, and I've changed. We all change, and no matter what the change may be, it might be something small like Brussels sprouts, or it might just be something big like, just how you like to do things in your marriage, your intimacy life. It might have changed. And so those things need to be talked about, but sometimes people don't have a platform in their home to talk about it. So in our classroom setting, we talked about all those subject matters, and it was pretty good.
So one of the things that you said that someone said is a gift, to be able to coach other couples. Mm-hmm. Do you believe that it's a gift?
Oh yeah, I mean, I definitely believe it's a gift. It is. I don't know, and I think that we could take it further than what we have so far. It's a gift because we're really good friends. We're best friends. And I think most people, that's the problem in a lot of marriages. Most people aren't best friends with their spouse. So I think that it's a gift that we have, and especially we have a gift to speak, especially Jermaine. He has a good understanding of relationships and things like that. So it helps that we can give that advice to people. And he's a person that, if you ask any of his friends, they call him for advice. So he's big on advice. So I think that's the biggest thing. I think it's a gift.
Yeah.
It's a gift.
Yeah, I think that would you do it for free? Would you do it for
right?
Are you passionate about it? Do you go to sleep thinking about it? Things like that. And do you have it? Do you have advice around it? Does it feel like a job? And I think that sometimes it's certain people, you can look at them and tell that God blessed them and gave them a gift to do certain things, and it comes natural for them. You could hear when you get a certain sense when you're around a person that worked for them, that's a real good gift for them. And some people, they can study. There's some counselors out here that are fantastic and they're wonderful, and they went to school and they got properly educated on how to do it, and it might not be a gift for them. But it could be something that you turned into a job and a career and things like that. But I do believe that it's good to have a gift in certain things, and to be involved with people that have gifts and things. And I do believe that talking about marriage and relationships, I mentor young men and boys and stuff too. So I do believe that God did put us here for a purpose, and we try to operate in our purpose. So I believe it.
I think that is so awesome. And so we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. welcome back. We are here with the power couple.
I
keep saying that because really it is very powerful because I was reading an article in Forbes magazine and they had about maybe 5 or 6 couples on there that really embody, or the epitome of a power couple is when you take everything that your spouse is doing as your own.
Right.
Okay.
And you put it inside of you and you allow it to birth through you.
Wow.
And that's what power couple is all about. And so you see the Jay-Z and the Beyoncés and the, Kim and Kanye, you see these couples now that because they got married, they blended their amazing talents and gifts together and they created what we call now power couples.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so knowing you guys and just knowing you personally, but also just watching your page, like a lot of times you can watch someone's page and that's not who they are. You see it all the time. I mean, you see couples and my pastor talked about this last Sunday, how they would like curse each other out and then they'll get up and preach.
Sure.
Yes.
Because the enemy was constantly trying to keep them from getting to the point of making those connections. And then one day it clicked. They realized that they can do so much more together than they could apart.
Sure.
And their relationship became their ministry.
Yes.
And so do you guys believe, what is your definition of a strong marriage?
You want to take that one?
Wow. So it's a loaded question. So definition of a strong marriage is somewhat similar to what you just described. I think that first, you guys as a married couple, that you should go out and have a purpose and a mission for your marriage. I think that most couples, they get married based around feelings and emotions and things like that simmer. I don't want to say that they die, but they do simmer out. Hey, she's attractive, I'm attractive, or I'm in love and things like that. But then things simmer out. And so I think you should have a mission and a purpose for your marriage so that you guys can know what your initiative is for life. Together, and I think you could define it. I think that it could be defined. I don't think you have to go into the marriage and know those things. But just like you mentioned with some of those power couples, I can look at some of these couples and tell that they're doing things on purpose. I could tell that Jay-Z decided not to take a concert tour because he wanted to support Beyonce and her concert tour. I could tell that Kim Kardashian is wearing Kanye's clothes and things like that to support their business. I could look and see that they're a couple that no matter what people think about them or whether we judging them from the sideline, I could see that they're making a real purpose and decision that they're going to be in a great relationship and they're going to support each other along the way. And I think that is done on purpose. I think you have to have a purpose in your relationship. You have to wake up and say, it's my initiative to be pleasing to someone else. It's my initiative to please her and her initiative to do the same. And we have to go out and be pleasing to each other. And I just think people wake up in the morning and they say, well, what about me?
Yep. And I think that's what he said today was a good word. He told me, he said, we have to be intentional. We have to be intentional in this marriage. And I think that's what it means to have a good marriage. You're going out with the intent to have a great marriage. You're going out with the intent to please your spouse. You know what I mean? This is the person you think about, the person when you do stuff. You just don't say, well, I'm going downstairs to get myself a cup of water or whatever it is. You say, do you need something?
Because it will be pleasing to the other person. Right. And it puts a smile on the other person's face. And I think that we have to be more intentional. And I know that we're in a society today that people are worried and concerned about themselves. And that's fine. I think it's great. Be concerned about yourself. But it's hard to do it in a successful marriage. That's all. I'm not saying don't get married. I'm saying how successful do you want it to be? If you want it to be very successful, then you have to be intentional and on purpose, defined on purpose, on a purpose-driven path to make your mate happy and make him satisfied. And I'm going to take the word happy out because I think that we're going to fight for that word. But I just don't.
You hear people say, like, I'm not happy anymore.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's one of those key words in a lot of breakups. It's like, well, we're not happy.
Yeah.
And so, what would you speak to someone that says, I'm just not happy. We're not happy anymore.
I think what has happened is for us, we counsel a lot of couples also. So we're able to see, and like told one couple that we were counseling, look, this is marriages, these problems that we have now have changed. They are crazy, and I mean, for lack of a better word. So there are a lot of things that are happening in marriages now that are different and strange, and but one couple did go through that. One guy said, he's not happy anymore. But I don't think it's that you're not happy anymore. I really think that you are becoming, you're looking other places. I don't think you're grateful for what you have. Do you understand what I mean? I think if we spend more time saying we're grateful for what we have, and being focused on being thankful for who this person is, then we can be happy, because we forget that. We spend more time saying what we're not happy with and how we're not grateful and not thankful. We spend a lot of time saying, I'm not happy, I'm not grateful, but we don't spend time saying, hey, I'm grateful because this person is this way or that way, or, I just will say one thing, like a couple that we know, and I'm not going to be detailed, but the guy did something around the house and the wife just took it for granted, like, oh, but we have to be grateful for the things that the person is doing. And I think that we spend a lot of time not doing that. We're not grateful.
Yeah, I think the definition of what we all saying happiness has to be put into perspective too. When we're saying, hey, you're going home to your spouse and saying, I'm just not happy anymore. Like, what are we really talking about? Like, how far are we going with this definition? like, are you just not happy in life? Because a lot of times people, they bring their unhappiness with their job into unhappiness into their marriage. And so, like, let's just tell the truth. What are we unhappy about? If it's about intimacy, then say that. Say, I'm not happy about my intimacy. Right. If it's about you're not happy that she's not cooking, then say that. Like, make it more direct and make it more polished into what it really is about. Because you tell a woman that you're just not happy, that she's going to think that you just don't like anything.
Because you're like, well,
you're not happy about nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. I kept cooking.
And
there's nowhere to go. And the worst place you could leave a woman is in their thoughts.
Yes, very much so.
Being in your thoughts is like, it is so, and we're so detailed. Women, we're so detailed that we already have what they say, 10,000 words more than a man.
Sure.
So could you imagine that thought after a man says, I'm just not happy? It's like,
right, so you thinking of everything that what? And the first thing you go to is thinking of somebody else is in the picture.
Yeah, but it's also hurtful. So because it's hurtful to hear those words, you don't know what that information may do to a person. Right. So it might make that person go into a shell when they was probably already bothered by something else in life anyway, that they just wasn't producing. But we all go into a stale point in marriages. We all go to a point where we could probably do a little bit better. If we just, if a person, like you just said earlier, you was having a little rough week and you weren't your best Kellie this week. Mm-hmm. So that probably didn't just go into the hair salon. That probably went into the kitchen. Mm-hmm. That probably went into the bedroom. That probably went everywhere.
Right. That's right.
And so, but should I come home and say, Kellie, I want a divorce?
Right.
Because you had a rough week. Right. Because you had a rough week, and that's just not how this works. Right. Yeah, because it's just not happy. And then some couples, they'll say, nah, man, it's been going on for a long time, and it probably has. But we should just sit down and talk about it and get it out the room. That we have to get the resolution though. Yeah. I think that some couples do talk to each other and they do state their feelings, but we have to resolve it though.
Yeah. Danita Brooks, we looked on Facebook and she says that she has never heard anyone say to have a mission for your marriage.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think people don't, because nobody thinks of that. I think when you can focus on doing something, especially, and we've talked about this, for somebody else outside of your marriage, it can strengthen it because your focus is not so much on yourself.
Or the other person making you happy or satisfying you and things like that. Men like to be satisfied. So men, she satisfied me last night. Men love that. But like, it's not the only thing. Right. It's not the only thing in your marriage. It's a lot of great components that make a marriage great. And so being mission driven in your marriage, then everybody know where they are. and everybody knows what their point and their mission is to do. And so if as long as everybody's on track with that, then you'll see your marriage flourish and it'll go in the direction that you wanted it to go in.
Right, because we can both say, well, our mission is to make this the best, whatever it is that we're working on together. I think every couple should try to do something together that they're doing together and that they're focusing on together, because it helps you stay focused on something outside of the problems.
And I think that you see your wife or your husband, they go and they might take and say, hey, I'm going to the gym and I want to lose 30 pounds. Join her.
Right.
Maybe that's your mission for this year in 2017.
Wow.
Join your wife, join your husband, and say, hey, you know what? Let's do that together, babe. And we'll do it together. And guess what? I see couples all the time. They decide to do a body build challenge and things of that nature and lose weight. And you'll see them grow closer and through that deal. If not, maybe you're already in shape and your wife isn't or your husband isn't. Maybe you're already in shape and you don't need the 30 pounds to lose. Then guess what? Go wipe her forehead. Go bring her some water and things like that. You can still be part of the mission, being a cheerleader.
Right.
And you can go find a role and say, you know what, man, I'm going walking my wife up the track, man. And while I'm helping her go complete her mission. You don't have to be a team member all the time.
Right.
You don't have to always be a team member to be part of the mission.
helpmeet.
You could be a
I
help
like
me.
that. He said you can be. I love that so much, because you have so many people that'll say, you know, my wife is out of shape or my husband's out of shape. Mm-hmm. But if you go to the gym with your spouse, that's a date.
It's a date.
It is.
You know, and then you said that you don't always have to be a team member. You can sit on the sideline and just root that person on. That is just so powerful.
Yeah.
That is so powerful. And so, what is the best thing you would say about your spouse? The best thing for you about your spouse?
I want to go first because I don't want to lose my answer. But we're gonna have different answers anyway.
Yeah, I'm gonna be different because we're different people. We're very different people, and most people, you marry somebody opposite of you, and we're different.
Yeah, and I need, for the best thing that I'm going to say about Katron, I need her to be this also. So she's very forgetful. Not forgiving.
Oh, I'm about to say
forgiving. I said forgetful, but I meant it in a different way.
Okay, I know what you mean.
Yes, and so when we have complications or problems or issues, then she's the first one to forgive me. She's the first one to move on. She's the first one to get rid of the problem. I'm a hold on person, and I've been working on it. Trust me, I have. But it helps to have another person that's opposite in conflict time. And so when we have conflict, she's the peacemaker. She's the person that goes about and says, hey, well, I'm over it, and and it helps our marriage, and it really does. And I think that if she brought in conflict with it, with my bad attitude sometimes, then it wouldn't.
Right, because most people are like, they have bad attitude, nasty attitude, it's just never going
to
work.
Because I'm a person that'll solve the problem and have it figured out, like what we need to do to solve the problem. But I'm not as good at letting it go. My feelings get hurt. I get a little sensitive, and so, but she's not. She's quick to forgive. Yeah. So I love that. That's the best quality. She's quick to forgive. So I'll say it again.
The best thing about Jermaine is his sense of humor. To me, he makes me laugh. I think that it lightens up the house. He does it with our kids. He does it with me. He's a big joker. I think for me, that's the best thing, because it's lighthearted and it makes me happy. It makes me feel good. He jokes and I laugh, and that's what it works. I think that's the best thing.
I got so many great qualities, though. I just didn't. I was wondering which one you was gonna pull out, babe. I have a lot of great qualities,
though.
But I was kind of going down the list, like, should she name this? Should she say that? Like, but I'll take that one. That was like 4 on my list, though. Okay, I just want you to know we'll talk about it in the car. We'll take it out.
I'm cracking up. That is so funny. And so it's so many couples on here that's just chiming in on Facebook. But everyone wants to know, how do they get in contact with you guys?
Well, we are on Facebook. So on Facebook, we have a marriage page, which is One Umbrella Marriage. So you can search for it and join it. It's open. You can join it. We also, you can reach us by email at oneumbrellamarriage@gmail.com. We're very reachable. So join us on Facebook, send us a message at Jermaine Catron Turner or on One Umbrella Marriage, and then you can reaches that way.
Yeah, and we post videos, and we started out doing videos once a week to talk about different marriage topics, and we just pick a topic and then we talk about it, and we try to bring a real practical way on our one umbrella page, and then our life just gets so busy, and so
Running a photography business.
yeah, and so we try to do it like once every month. And so just so that couples can have some insight on some daily problems and weekly problems or just some different ways to looking at things, And so if you go to our one umbrella page, then you'll see some of those videos.
So we have a comment that we're going to read.
Okay.
It says, so if I tell your spouse you want to work out with him and they say they'd rather do that alone, then what?
This is the thing about going live, right? Well, I think that we have to make some real parameters about what we're going to do as spouse and in relationships. We have to say that we're connected and we're going to share moments and things together. That has to be the first initiative in your marriage. Yes. You have to say, we're going to do things together. It's not really about you doing what you do and I do. Now, we all need private time, separate time. You need time with your friends and things like that. But we want to have to find missions. I'm a cyclist. I love to ride bikes. Katron does not like to ride bikes. Well, I had to tell myself the truth about that because I bought her a bike and I was like, oh, babe, we're going to ride bikes together. And she didn't want to say, I don't want to ride bikes, until we were riding down a hill and she was saying, you're going too fast. and then I looked up and she just wasn't interested. Well, because we do everything together, it hurt me a little bit that she didn't want to ride bikes. I was like, this is my new thing. This is what I do. I bought bikes and bought all the stuff. And so what I would tell the person is that sometimes maybe pick another thing.
Right.
Pick another thing. Maybe it's not the gym. Maybe that's just your thing that you're going to have to accept, that your mate might not want to do that. I don't understand why I would have to know them as a couple.
And he don't want to do Zumba either.
No. No, I don't. And so we have to accept some things. And so, I would tell that young lady that maybe we have to pick something different. We have, if your mate don't want to go to the gym with you, maybe we pick something else and it's not the end all. You didn't marry him because he go to the gym with you.
Funny story. My husband and I, we would play basketball together.
Okay.
Of course, I'm so sure he's so tall. Of course, he's always going to win, but I will always go anyway. And so I started doing Zumba, and I love the Zumba. And so he's like, yeah, I'll go. And so I'm in the Zumba, and I'm doing my thing, and I look over, and he's drenched, and he's sweating, and he's looking like, I'm never doing this again, ever.
But
and and when he left, when I say he never came back,
he never came back.
He was like, listen, we're going to have to do something else.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think that is so funny. But when we come back, we're going to answer some more questions from our audience.
Sure.
So we'll be right back after this commercial.
Okay.
I know that there's going to be so many shares and replays. A lot of people, they're going to be blessed by this show. I know.
Oh, great.
So on the break, we were just talking about me just asking them 5 date night ideas.
Well, our favorite is sitting in the house Catching up on
shows that we record.
That's what we do.
It counts as a date.
It
All right,
does.
so let's define date, guys.
Right.
Let's define date. All right, because everything has to have its proper definition. Because it's a woman that's listening that's saying that's not a date, and it's a guy that's listening and saying that's not a date. So your definition of a date has to be defined in your marriage.
Right.
Okay. So
Okay.
if in your house, so we're married, but our definition might be different than you and your husband's definition. So we have to define what that is. And so, because one date night, so we're getting our 5 out the way, right, Kelly? So our one is we record shows, and we don't know when power comes on. I don't know, because we record it and we just watch it when we're free, because we're pretty busy. So if we watch it in bed and eat some popcorn, and our kids are away because they can't watch Power. So if they're downstairs, then you know, hey, that's a date for us.
That's a date. Spending time. It's for
awesome.
us. For us, it's just spending quality time together, and I
Yes.
think that's for us. It's a date. Another date that we like to do together is work out together. I recently started teaching Strong by Zumba, which is different than the dancing Zumba. It's more of a high intense workout. So for him and me to do it together, that's something that's date for us. We go to the gym together sometimes. We don't necessarily like to do the same things like the person asked, but we will work out together. So working out together is the date for us.
Yes, and we also like to keep things in perspective when it comes to money. So if does it mean you have to go to a fancy restaurant to be called a date? No, we go to an ice cream parlor and
Yes.
sit inside the ice cream parlor and have conversation. Now, I know that seems like, oh, they're so old and there's some, you know, old farts and things like that, but it's just not the truth. Like, look, we're spending quality time with each other, and that's really what the date is about to us, just spending quality time. Remember, you have to define what you call a date.
Right.
Now, if it is about money and spending time and going on balloon rides, I think that's a date also. I'm not saying that it's not. I'm just saying every couple has to state what's the definition of a date for them. And so another thing that we done not too long ago was, instead of us just getting our food and eating it in the car or eating it in like Chick-fil-A, for instance, I mean, I'm giving a lot of sponsorship away here, but instead of us doing that, we'll take it and go sit at a park, or we'll take it. We've taken it and went and sat and watched the airplanes go, and because we do have 4 kids, we include them on our dates sometimes. And I know it's not like the quality time for a couple, but we also a family, so we need to spend quality time.
We're big on family. We have 4
Yeah.
kids, and we're really close to them. We're really big on family because we're at home a lot because of what we do for a business. And, you know, our kids are really close to us. So a lot of our dates include our kids and our family. So that's a big date for us.
Yeah, so we'll take our food and pull a picnic blanket out, and that'll be a date. And if you see it from afar, you're gonna say that's so romantic. No, we just stopped at Chick-fil-A. We keep a blanket in the car. We keep a blanket in the car, and that's just that, you know. But it leads to the other stuff later. So we kiss on the date, and we're intimate later and stuff, and so all of the same stuff happened. You know, we just didn't spend $3,000 to do it, you know.
I think that's wonderful.
Yeah.
I mean, my husband, we were leaving church yesterday. He's like, "You want to go get some ice cream cones?" And
Yeah,
so
that's what we
just
do
sat in
that
the car
all
and
the time,
talked.
yeah.
And, you know, it meant a lot to me,
Yeah.
you know. And I know that someone else like ice cream, like, you know, I'm not no kid.
Wow.
But for me, it meant a lot.
And it
because-
triggered something in you because it was
Yeah.
spontaneous.
Right.
And it triggered something, and he was thoughtful, and you liked that probably. Most women do.
Yeah.
And he was being thoughtful, he was being spontaneous, and he didn't require you to make all the plans, which women, you guys plan everything, and so that helped everything. He got a bunch of bonus points for that. You
Yes,
know?
he did. Absolutely.
There you go.
And so we have a question on the Facebook.
Okay.
It says, does One Umbrella Marriage counsel couples who aren't married yet?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
We actually just did a couple who's not married, but yes, we do that also. So we counsel couples who are not yet married to help them prepare for marriage, and we did it for some friends of ours too last year. So yes, we counsel couples who are not yet married to try to help them prepare and plan and see what's gonna be down the road. So yes.
Yeah. And so I know a lot of couples. I know me and my husband has been through marriage counseling quite a bit.
Okay.
And I say it with so much pride because a lot of couples don't invest in that.
They don't.
You know, a lot of times, especially in certain communities, I won't say our communities, but a lot of people think counseling is like, I'm not crazy. You know, like you know, some people just equate counseling with it is a problem.
And it normally that's when people go to counseling when it is a problem. Right. And we did too. We went to counseling when it was a problem. And so like things get off track and then you go to counseling, and that's what most people do. And that's why we say, hey, let's do something along the way. Let's go and get part of a marriage group. Let's hang with married friends. Let's go be a part of something while everything is great. We believe that it's best to talk about marriage problems when things are going good.
Good, yeah.
Not when they're going bad. It's hard to fix a problem when things are bad. You know, and if you try to fix something like hey, babe, did you pick your shoes? Can you pick your shoes? I'm tired of walking over your shoes. It's easier to say that when things are all good.
Right, and we do a lot of joking for stuff like that. And so if it's something we need to say, we try to say it in a humorous manner, so it's not so personal and or you know. But it is when marriage is you need counseling. I mean, and you need to go through, and I think it's refreshing to to go through and
have an outside mediator to talk about issues with, talk about problems, and sometimes maybe it's just good to have somebody else's perspective, but we do have trouble going, and I think men especially, because we like to know everything that's coming up. Yeah. And so most men, we're going to be a little reserved about going to counseling just because of it. But if you get part of a group where you could just sit and talk about marriage, I sat and talked to a group of guys last week about their intimate relationship with their spouses, and they had no trouble talking. They wanted to talk, and they wanted all the information, and they wanted to talk. But if I would have brought their wives in, I'll tell you, they probably wouldn't have talked so free.
It's probably going to be our next talk.
So it's like man talk.
Well, we're going to talk about that too, because I think it's important.
One more question.
Okay.
Yeah, one more question. So I because we're wrapping up, and this is like, this is so good. It's like I feel like we just got started.
I know, that's how I feel too.
That's because we answered all these questions in detail, right?
So, you know, we have to have you guys back on the show.
We love to do it.
We have to. I think that this is so profound, and it's so many couples that I'm sure are in my inbox. Like, what was the name of the page again? Right. And so we have one more question. Okay. Just one more question we'll do. Can you tell us shortly, I guess?
Okay, I'm going to try and wrap it up.
Okay.
About the Love Dare Challenge.
Oh, well, I do a lot of studying for our One Umbrella Marriage page, trying to get couples to do things to be intentional. And so we just started this challenge. Every week I'll post something to give somebody to do. And the first one was being patient. It's something that I struggle with sometimes because I could be easily flustered because I got a lot going on. So I can lose patience. And so one of the things that I initiated was a Love Dare Challenge. So once a week we'll give you a challenge, be patient. Can you be patient with your spouse this week? The next one will be being kind or not being jealous, or all the things that God tells us to do love-wise. Are you being gentle? Can you be thoughtful? Can you believe the best this week? And I'll initiate a way to do that. And being patient was the first one. So it's something we'll do every week, to challenge couples to be intentional in their marriage. And I think that's what our goal is, be intentional.
So how can we reach you one more time?
We're on Facebook, and our page, One Umbrella Marriage, is Facebook. So if you search for it, you can find it and join the page. We are also by email, oneumbrellamarriage@gmail.com. And our personal Facebook page, which we use too, is Jermaine and Katron Turner. Or Jermaine Katron Turner. We do everything together. So our Facebook page is our Facebook page, Jermaine Katron Turner, on Facebook.
Yeah. So thank you guys so much.
It was our pleasure.
Thank you for having us.
For being on the show.
We made the show, Katron. Look, we've been watching. We've been fans, but now we're on the page.
And so you can catch this on YouTube. We upload it on YouTube within an hour. So if you want to look at the other ones that we have, I think we're on week 17. And you can go and watch all of them on YouTube. And Coach Kellie Speaks, of course, I'm a fan of having everything, together. So I'm on Coach Kellie on all social media platforms. And so next week we have a psychologist, a grief psychologist that's going to be on the show on Monday. And so it's going to be a great show. Just get into the nitty gritty. And so thank you so much for viewing Coach Kellie Speaks, and we'll see you guys next Monday.
All right,
Bye,
bye
guys.
everybody.